So, because the next two verses, text 6 and text 7, are basically the purports are small, so we'll try to cover two verses today, text 6 and text 7. And text 7 is on the chanting of the holy names, right? So, many of us might have heard many things about the chanting of the holy name. So, we'll try to cover these two verses today. So, we'll directly start, instead of revision, we'll directly go to text 6, which is basically text 6 is describing about how we should deal with the pure devotee. In the previous verse, we saw in the text 5, we saw how to associate, how we should distinguish between Kanishtadhikari, Madhyamadhikari, and Uttamadhikari, right? There are three types of devotees, how we should associate with them, how we should offer respects different to different devotees, how we should offer different respects, right? That is what we saw. Now, in today's verse, we'll see how to deal with the pure devotee, even if there are some imperfections, how to deal with it, right? Yeah. So basically, text 6 deals with associating with the pure devotee. So text 6 discusses further how we should associate with devotees, especially with the spiritual master who is understood to be transcendently situated, right? So this text deals with pure devotees, or especially with the spiritual master who is actually transcendently situated. He appears to be in the material body, but his consciousness is not in the material world. His consciousness is situated in the spiritual world. Example of this is when Prabhupada initially was going from this 22nd Second Avenue to 26th Second Avenue to the park, right, for performing Sankirtan first time. So all his disciples, or his would-be disciples, were seeing that there are drunkards who have fallen. They're sleeping whole night and they are just getting up. There are drunkards, prostitutes are there. So basically, it was like hell for them. But actually, Prabhupada was able to see that it is Vaikuntha, because Prabhupada's heart is there in the spiritual world. Therefore, Uttama Bhakta or Uttama devotee, a pure devotee, is able to see Krishna everywhere. Therefore, he is able to see Goloka or Vaikuntha everywhere. So, this is a sloka that we will be seeing, right? So, yes. So, I'll chant and you can repeat behind me the sloka and we'll see the translation, right? So, the sloka is Drishte Swabhava Janite Vapusascha Dosher
Nishtai स्वभावजन्ते वपुषे च दोषे
प्राकृतत्वमिह भक्तजनस्य पश्येत्
नाप्राप्तत्वमिह भक्तजनस्य पश्येत्
गङ्गाम्बसा न खलु बुद्बुदफेन पङ्केर्
गङ्गाम्बशानकुले
ब्रह्मद्रवत्वमपगच्छति नीरधर्मै Yeah. So basically, this verse, Prabhupada is translating it as like this, that sometimes a pure devotee, right, while when we externally observe a pure devotee, he may have some defects in him, right? Some bodily defects, like he may be ugly, he may have some deformities in his body, he may be black, right? So these deformities may be there, but these are all external, right? So we should not go on the external symptoms of a pure devotee, but we should see internally that he is actually a pure devotee of the Lord, and he is always engaged in the service of the Lord. Internally seeing means basically seeing that he is 24 hours engaged in the service of the Lord, and his consciousness when we hear from him, right? So if you want to observe a pure devotee, we cannot, if you want to judge a pure devotee, we cannot understand him through our eyes. Actually, we can understand him through our ears, right? So spiritual things, if you want to understand, you can understand only through ears, not through our eyes, right? So if you want to understand spiritual things, spiritual subject matters, the this thing, karna, or what is that, the instrument that we have to use is our ears. So if you want to understand a pure devotee, we should understand when he speaks, right? So there might be deformities, there might be some externally symptoms that may not be good, but we can judge a pure devotee or understand a pure devotee when we hear from him, right? An example, just like even if you see in Ganges, while the Ganges is flowing, right? So in that there are many bubbles, foams, right? And sometimes stool is, the Ganges carries dead bodies, stool, right? So we go to Mayapur, or we go to holy places like Prayagraj and all, where Ganga is flowing, right? So when we are taking bath, at that time also some dead body may be passing through Ganga, or there might be stool, there might be many what is that, dust and everything. But we actually, even if while we're taking bath, even if stool comes, we basically keep it aside, we move it aside, and then we take bath, because we understand that Ganges is coming from the lotus feet of the Lord, and therefore it is transcendental water. It is liquid water which is transcendental. Therefore, when we take bath in Ganges, we actually become purified, right? So similarly, when we, even though a pure devotee may have certain deformities, may be ugly, right? But we associate with them, we become purified, right? Somebody can read the translation of text 7, text 6.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Yeah, read the translation.
Being situated in his original Krishna conscious position, a pure devotee does not identify with the body. Such a devotee should not be seen from a materialistic point of view. Indeed, one should overlook a devotee as having a body born in a low family, a body with a bad complexion, a deformed body, or a diseased or infirm body. According to our ordinary vision, such imperfections may seem prominent in the body of pure devotee. But despite such seeming defects, the body of pure devotee cannot be polluted. It is exactly like the waters of the Ganges, which sometimes during the rainy season are full of bubbles, foam, and mud. The Ganges water do not become polluted. Those who are advanced in spiritual understanding will bathe in the Ganges without considering the condition of the water.
Yes. So those who are advanced in spiritual understanding, right, will nevertheless take bath in the Ganges water. So similarly, because we are sometimes while we are taking bath, we may think, oh, this is dirty, I should not take bath, I should go out, right? So therefore, we may not be have we not we may not have that spiritual understanding. So similarly, why this verse is stated, even though pure devotee is transcendentally situated, we may think that, oh, why this verse is being stated here? Because we are still neophytes, because we are still on the level of a Kanishta Adhikari, right? A Kanishta Adhikari cannot distinguish between a devotee and a non-devotee. A Kanishta Adhikari knows only how to serve the Supreme Lord, but he cannot distinguish between a devotee and a non-devotee. That only a Madhyamadhikari distinguishes between a devotee and a non-devotee, and he distinguishes between a devotee and the Lord. Therefore, there are four characteristics, or there are four dealings of the Madhyamadhikari, right? Ishwari tad adineshu बालिशेषु द्विषस्तु च प्रेम मैत्री कृपोपेक्षा य karoti sa madhyama. So he knows these four dealings, right? So because we are Kanishtadhikaris, we are still on the platform of the lowest platform of Vaishnava. Therefore, it is very important for us to know that we will, while we are observing a pure devotee, we will observe externally only, right? We will not internally observe, we will externally observe. Therefore, this verse acts as a caution for us that don't observe a pure devotee externally, right? Yes. It is forbidden to view the transcendental Vaishnavas with material vision. We have materialistic vision, right? We distinguish the Vaishnavas based on caste, creed, color, right? He's a fair Vaishnava, he's a black Vaishnava. So fair Vaishnava means he must be advanced. So like this, oh, he is from my state or my country or from my village, right? So like this, we distinguish. We show that favorism. So therefore, not to make such distinction, therefore this verse is stated, right? Yes. It is improper to pursue mundane defects in pure devotees and to consider them to be mere conditioned souls. It is impossible for pure devotees to fall into bad association or to commit offenses to the holy name. There can be some imperfections in their bodies and natures. Example, lack of cleanliness, deformity, ugliness, old age. Sometimes we may see that pure devotees are sometimes harsh, they may chastise us, but we should understand that that is all on the transcendental platform. That is not like us. Sometimes we become angry. A pure devotee's anger is different from a normal person's anger. Also, we may see that somebody might be born in low caste, he may be harsh, he may be lethargic, and so forth. So, just like Ganges is considered to be pure despite the natural appearance of bubbles, foam, mud, and so on within it, its nature as liquefied transcendence is not lost. Similarly, the self-realized Vaishnavas are not contaminated by the natural transformations of the physical body, such as birth, aging, death, and so on. Therefore, not to see a Vaishnava self-realized soul externally, but to see internally, that is, he is always engaged 24 hours in the service of the Lord. And when he speaks, actually, we will understand sadhu will not be known unless and until he speaks. As soon as a sadhu starts speaking, we'll understand who is a sadhu and who is a sadhu, or who is not a devotee, right? So therefore, externally we should not judge a pure devotee. And sometimes, because of our material conditionings, even though we may know that he is a pure devotee, we may still, that considerations may come that, oh, he is not acting properly, but immediately we should correct our mind is in the modes of passion and ignorance, so immediately we should correct our mind and tell that no, he is a pure devotee of the Lord, so whatever he does is perfect, right? So that will save us from committing Vaishnava aparadh. And if we commit Vaishnava aparadh to a very great soul, then it's like Gopal Chapal or Gopal Chakravarti had committed Vaishnava aparadh against Srila Haridas Thakur. So immediately within a few days, he had cursed Srila Haridas Thakur that if whatever you have told, if it is not true, then immediately your nose will be melted down, right? Your nose will be, you will lose your nose, right? So after some weeks, it was seen that Gopal Chapal had contracted leprosy, and he was losing all his organs, right? Fingers, nose. So similarly, the if the Vaishnava is very very high in Krishna consciousness, if he is very very pure, and if you offend him, immediately we get that effect, and it will be very very dangerous, right? Sometimes devotees fall down also, they leave Krishna consciousness because of these offenses. So therefore we should be very very careful in dealings with pure devotees, right? And the in the shastra also tell that the deities and pure devotees, Vaishnavas, pure devotees and deities, the spiritual master, pure devotees and deities are like fire, right? So fire we use for cooking, right? Fire is used for cooking, fire is used for burning. So when it is properly used, it will help you to cook, it will help you to do many things. But if you do not handle, if you go too much close, then it can burn us also. Similarly, deities, the pure spiritual master, pure devotees. So from a respectful distance, if we serve them in a very humble attitude, then we will advance in Krishna consciousness. But if we go too close, if we become too familiar, and sometimes if we go too close to a spiritual master, then we may see the what is that? We may start seeing some material imperfections. So then what happens? It will actually burn us. So therefore, spiritual master, pure devotee, and deities are like fire. So neither go too close, neither we should be too far. Just like fire, if you keep it at a proper distance, then it will give you warmth, right? If you go too far, then you'll not feel the warmth of fire, and if you go too close, it will burn you. Similarly, if you do go too far away from the Vaishnavas, then we will not get the benefit. If we go too close also, then we will see material imperfections. Therefore, stay at a safe distance, serve them humbly in a humble service attitude, then you can get a lot of benefits. Therefore, even upon observing imperfections in a pure Vaishnava, one intent on performing bhajan should never disrespect them, right? So you may see some imperfections, right? So, but don't disrespect them. By disrespecting such a personality, one becomes an offender, aparadhi. Therefore, in this matter, sadhaka should remain very careful. So, in this text, we will be dealing with 3 questions. Who is a pure devotee? How to recognize a pure devotee? What are the 7 offenses against a pure devotee? So this starts the purport. So what is Shuddha Bhakti? Basically, Shuddha Bhakti is the activity of the soul proper, right? Engagement in the transcendental loving service of the Lord is Shuddha Bhakti, and it is performed in a liberated condition. So this 14.26, Mam cha yo vebicharena bhakti yogena sevate sagunan samate taitan brahma bhuyaya kalpate. So avebicharena bhakti, right? Mam cha yo vebicharena bhakti, that is avibhicharine bhakti or unalloyed devotional service unto me, unto the Supreme Personality, Krishna is telling, it is free from the 3 modes, sagunan samataitan brahma bhuyaya kalpate. And anybody who is engaging in the avibhicharine bhakti is actually situated on the platform of Brahman, or is beyond the 3 modes. So this is Shuddha Bhakti is the activity of the soul proper and engagement in the transcendental livings of the Lord, and it is performed in a liberated condition. Brahma Bhuyaya Kalpate. So, who is a pure devotee? One who is serving free from material motives, right? So, generally, we see that when we are serving the Supreme Personality of Godhead, so we have material motives. That is, somebody wants to serve the deity, somebody wants to do some service in the temple to get some name, fame, prestige, or some Mahaprasadam, or something like that, right? So, generally, in the conditioned state, we serve because of from material motives, right? But a pure devotee is serving free from material motives. Anyavilashita shunyam, jnana karmadi anavritam, anukulena krishnanushilanam bhaktiruttama, right? So the devotional service of pure devotee is uncontaminated, unmotivated, uninterrupted, and unconditional. So these four qualities are there. What are they? The pure devotional service matlab unmotivated, uncontaminated, unconditional, and uninterrupted. Unmotivated, no, with no material motives, right? Unmotivated, uncontaminated. They are not contaminated by the three modes of material nature, that is sattva guna, rajoguna, and tamaguna. It is neither contaminated with material desires, right? Unmotivated, uncontaminated, uninterrupted, right? It continues. It's not that after for some days, 10 days he does pure devotional service and after that it stops. It stops coming to temple, stops chanting Hare Krishna mantra. So it is uninterrupted, right? Because there are no material motives, it is not contaminated, so it continues, right? Because it is on the platform of the soul, it continues uninterrupted and unconditional, no conditions, right? Oh, if only this, if I am made the president of the temple, then only I will serve, otherwise I will not serve. If I am made if I am given the department, I am made the in charge of the department, then only I will serve, otherwise I will not serve. If only I am given this service, if I am told to give class, then only I will serve, otherwise I will not serve, right? So he understands that all services are equal. Every service we can please the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Therefore, it is unconditional. So a pure devotee is free from material motives, right? And he has taken complete shelter of the Lord's internal energy. Daivi Aisha Gunamayi Mama Maya Duratmaya Mameve Prapadyante Maya Mitam Tarantite and Mahatmanam Stu Mam Partha Daivim Prakriti Ashrita Bhajanti Ananya Manaso Jnatva Bhutadi Aveya. A Mahatma or a pure devotee, how you can know him? Because he has taken shelter, complete shelter of the Lord's internal energy. Mahatmanam Stu Mam Partham, the Daivim Prakritim Ashrita. He has taken shelter of Daivim Prakriti, right? The internal energy of the Lord. So Prabhupada further explains in the purport that material consciousness means the consciousness that is aimed at material enjoyment. If I am the center, that is material consciousness. If Krishna is the center and serving Krishna is the center, that is Krishna consciousness. So Krishna consciousness is aimed towards serving Lord Krishna. Serves Lord Krishna without material considerations, right? Like Srila Prabhupada, if you see, if we were given the instruction by our spiritual master that you need to go to West and preach in the English language, we would tell to our spiritual master, "Oh, my Guru, oh dear Guru Maharaj, I need a air ticket, right? Is there any devotee for me to who will welcome me there in US, right? Is there proper facilities to stay there, and are there some devotees to help me there, and are there proper funds? Is there proper Lakshmi to for me to spend and so that I can serve you properly, right?" So Prabhupada had nothing when he went from basically Calcutta to America, right? 30 days he went on the ship, and there was only one Gopal Agarwal whom he never met in his life, right? So he did not what is that? He had his address only, that in Pennsylvania he was staying, right? So he had his address, and he had some phone number of him, right? So if because Prabhupada was pure devotee of Mahabhagavata, so he did not consider any material considerations. He did not have any material considerations, but he just wanted to fulfill the desire of his spiritual master. Therefore, because he did not have any material considerations, therefore, even in such difficult circumstances, he went to US and started this Krishna consciousness movement, right? So a pure devotee, avyabicharini bhakti, right, is fixed up in unalloyed devotion. Bhakti yoga is the proper activity of the soul. And when one actually engages in unalloyed, uncontaminated bhakti, is already liberated. Sagunan samatitaitan. So associating with the pure devotee. So definition of pure unalloyed devotion, we have already seen this. Anyabhilashita shunyam, jnana karmadi anavratam, Anukulena Krishnanushīlanam bhaktiruttama, right? So Anukulena Krishnanu means what? That consciousness or that activity which helps us to surrender favorably to Krishna, right? Which helps us to surrender, which helps us to serve Krishna favorably. Consciousness aimed at service and surrender to favorably please Krishna. Anukulena Krishnano. No material considerations or desires. Anyabhilayashita shunyam, right? So there are no material considerations or desires in pure unalloyed devotion. Third, it is transcendental. Pure unalloyed devotion of pure bhakti yoga is transcendental. Anavratam. It is transcendental to what? To the activities of the body and mind, and it is transcendental to karma, fruitive activity, and jnana. So this is pure devotional service. Anabhilashita shunyam means it is free from material considerations and material desires. Jnana karmadi anavratam. It is transcendental to body, mind, that is jnana and karma, and it is anukulena krishna anushilanam. Such a bhakti is uttama bhakti or bhakti uttama. Yes. So pure devotee is already on the liberated platform. So understanding this, that pure devotee is engaged in pure devotional service, therefore he is sagunan samaditaitan brahma bhuyaya kalpate. He is situated on the platform of Brahman, right? So therefore, such a person is transcendental to the modes, not getting subjected to the material condition, even though his bodily features may appear to be materially conditioned, and he is on the level of Brahman. Conclusion: therefore, one should not see a devotee from a materialistic point of view. Unless one is actually a devotee, one cannot see another devotee perfectly. So since we are trying to become a devotees, we are not yet become pure devotees, right? So therefore, we will not be able to recognize a pure devotee properly, or we will not be able to observe him properly. There will be material considerations. We will see him materially. Therefore, this verse gives a caution that do not see a pure devotee materially. Hold on, right? Whenever some material considerations come, you are able to see some imperfections, immediately stop your mind. Tell that what I'm doing is wrong, right? So I should not see a devotee, pure devotee materially, right? So we'll go to the purport. Yeah. Somebody can start reading the purport.
Hare Krishna.
Yes.
Shuddha Bhakti, the activity of the soul, proper, in other words, engagement in the transcendental loving service of the Lord, is performed in a liberated condition. In Bhagavad Gita 14.26, it is stated, Mam cha yo vyabhicharena bhakti yogena sevate sagunan samati taitam brahma bhuyaya kalpate. One who engages in full devotional service, who does not fall down in any circumstance at once, transcends the modes of material nature and thus come to the level of Brahman. Avyabhicharini bhakti means unalloyed devotion. A person engaged in devotional service must be free from material motives. In this Krishna consciousness movement, one's consciousness must be changed. If consciousness is aimed toward material enjoyment, it is material consciousness. And if it is aimed toward serving Krishna, it is Krishna consciousness. A surrendered soul serves Krishna without material considerations. Anyabhilasita shunyam. Jnana karmadi annavratam. Unalloyed devotional service, which is transcendental to the activities of the body and mind, such as jnana, mental speculation, and karma, fruitive work, is called pure bhakti yoga. Bhakti yoga is the proper activity of the soul, and when one actually engages in unalloyed, uncontaminated devotional service, he is already liberated. Sagunan samatityaitam. Krishna's devotee is not subjected to material conditions, even though his bodily features may appear materially conditioned. One should therefore not see a pure devotee from a materialistic point of view. Unless one is actually a devotee, he cannot see another devotee perfectly. As explained in previous verse, there are three types of devotees: Kanishta Adhikari, Madhyama Adhikari, and Uttama Adhikari. The Kanishta Adhikari cannot distinguish between a devotee and non-devotee. He is simply concerned with worshipping the deity in the temple.
Yes. So this is important that a Kanishtadhikari cannot distinguish between a devotee and a non-devotee. What he is simply concerned with is worshipping the deity in the temple. Whereas a Madhyamadhikari can distinguish between devotee, non-devotee, as well as between the devotee and the Lord. Thus, it treats the Supreme Personality of Godhead, the devotee and the non-devotee in different ways, which we saw in the previous verse, right? Yes, continue, Mataji.
A Madhyama Adhikari, however, can distinguish between the devotee and non-devotee, as well as between the devotee and the Lord. Thus, he treats the Supreme Personality of Godhead, the devotee, and the non-devotee in different ways. No one should criticize the bodily defects of a pure devotee. If there are such defects, they should be overlooked.
Yes. So there will be defects, right? Because pure devotee, still because he has a material body, there will be some defects. They should be overlooked. Yes. Continue. Mataji.
If
What should be taken into account?
what should be taken into account is the spiritual master's main business, which is devotional service, pure service to the Supreme Lord. As stated in Bhagavad Gita 9.30, Apicheta Sudaracharo bhajate mam anyanya bhak sadhur eva sa manatavyah samyak vyavasthito hi sah. Even if a devotee sometimes seems to engage in abominable activities, he should be considered a sadhu, a saintly person, because his actual identity is that of one engaged in the loving service of the Lord. In other words, he is not to be considered an ordinary human being.
Yes. So just I want to little bit comment on this verse that sadhu reva samantavya sambhag vyavasito hisa. Because we are staying in an association of devotees and because we are in the material world, sometimes we may see that a devotee may sometimes deviate from the path of pure devotional service. He may sometimes fall down and he may sometimes break four regulative principles, right? And again, so yeah, if he breaks four regulative principles and after some time again he wants to continue practicing bhakti, right? So we should not reject him, right? Because consider that a person is taking bath and Prabhupada gives example of a person who is taking bath under shower, right? And for some times he goes out, right? And he again becomes dirty and comes back and he wants to take shower, right? So what we'll tell him? We will tell that, Array, you left the process in between and now you're gone out. Now you cannot take shower, right? Now for him there is no other hope, right? He has to again come under the shower and again take bath. And if he wants to sincerely practice, he should be given an opportunity to practice bhakti and we should not offend him, right? And there are devotees who are there, consider that temple is there, temple management with their TMC body is there, right? President is there and the GBC is there, who take action against that particular devotee if he is actually affecting the Vaishnava community. But for us who are normal devotees, right? If he is ready to come, if the temple has allowed him to come in the association of devotees and want to practice, we should not offend him even mentally, right? We should understand that it's none of my business to basically judge that devotee. Oh, this devotee went out, he broke the four regulative principles and now he's again coming back and he's showing off as a devotee, right? So if he is ready to practice again and if he is ready to come back in the association of devotees, then he should be allowed to come back and he should be welcomed and he should be embraced, right? So he should be given an opportunity. So therefore it is told, even if a devotee sometimes seems to engage in abominable activities, he should be considered a sadhu, a saintly person, because his actual identity is that of one engaged in loving service of the Lord. In other words, he's not to be considered an ordinary human being, right? So consider that devotee. Sometimes I hear my spiritual master's lecture and in that Maharaj says that while Prabhupada was there, some devotees left Krishna consciousness, and when they came back, devotees made fun of that particular devotee, that he left Krishna consciousness, he is in Maya, he has fallen. That again, that devotee, he wanted to come back and practice Krishna consciousness, but because he was made fun of, therefore he again went back into Maya, right? So therefore, we should be very careful in dealings with this particular kind of situation, that we should always encourage devotees, whoever wants to come back and practice Krishna consciousness. We should not discourage them, right? Because consider that somebody has left chanting Hare Krishna Mahamantra, right? And after some time, he's just visiting the temple. Immediately, we should not ask him that we know now that he has stopped chanting Hare Krishna Mahamantra and he is not chanting. So we should not ask him that, Are, what happened to you? Why you fell in Maya, right? Why you are not chanting Hare Krishna Mahamantra? Or how many rounds you're chanting? Are you chanting 16 rounds or are you stop chanting? These questions should not be asked. We should just welcome him. We should tell Hare Krishna, Prabhu, thank you for coming. Keep coming. And if you need any assistance, if you need any help, you can always call us, right? Consider that our own brothers and sisters were there, right? So they were facing certain difficulties, and how we would treat them and how we would behave with them. So similarly, like a family member, we should behave with them, and we should try to again encourage them to practice Krishna consciousness, not to discourage them, right? Yes. Uh, so we'll just see the slides again back. Unless one is actually a devotee, one cannot see another devotee perfectly, right? Yeah. Now, who can recognize a pure devotee, right? Who can recognize a pure devotee? A Uttamadhikari, right? Only a person who has devotion in his heart, pure devotion in his heart, can recognize a pure devotion in another's heart. So, if you want to recognize a pure devotee, you should actually become a pure devotee, right? Only Uttamadhikari can clearly recognize an Uttamadhikari. Kanishtadhikari cannot distinguish at all. Madhyamadhikari distinguishes at 4 levels. We already seen this. He distinguishes the Lord, the devotee, the innocent, and the envious. Only an Uttamadhikari can clearly recognize another Uttamadhikari. So safety precautions for us. So for us, because we may be on the Kanishta or the Madhyam platform, it may be difficult for us to recognize Uttamadhikari. So may distinguish by certain symptoms. Therefore, safe path is what? Respect all kinds of devotees to be on safe side. No one should criticize bodily defects of a pure devotee. If there are such defects, they should be overlooked. What should be taken into account? We saw that their main business is pure devotional service to the Lord, right? So they are 24 hours engaged in the service of the Lord. Their consciousness is surcharged with pure devotional service to the Lord. That is what we have to see. Apichet suduracharo bhajate mam ananyabhak sadhureva samantavya sammag vyavasito hi saha. So therefore, because we are on the Kanishta platform, we may fail to recognize a pure devotee. Therefore, we should try to avoid these 7 kinds of offenses against all kinds of devotees. 7 kinds of offenses against all kinds of devotees. That is what is discussed further in the purport. So we'll see this first. What are the 7 possible offenses against the devotees that we may commit while we come across them? Criticizing based on bodily defects of Vaishnava, right? So there may be bodily defects might be there. Vaishnava, there might be some boils on his body, always some boils. His face may not be so beautiful, right? So a body with bad complexion, a deformed body, a diseased body, or an infirm body, right? Consider sometimes he may be like a kubja, right? His body may not be straight. So all these, even though these deformities may be there on the body of a Vaishnava, we should not neither internally nor externally criticize that, right? Avoid criticizing such bodily defects. Overlook and never criticize such defects. Focus on the primary qualities of such a devotee. Apichet suduracharo bhajate mamananyabhak sadhureva samantavya sammag vivasitah saha. Even if a devotee sometimes seems to engage in abominable activities, he should be considered a sadhu, because his actual identity is that of one engaged in the loving service of the Lord. Criticizing based on birth, right? Sometimes we may tell that, oh, this Vaishnava is from a Brahmin family, he is from a Shudra family. So this distinction should not be made, because Prabhupada has told that anyway in this Kali Yuga, everybody is a Shudra, Kalau Shudra Sambhava, right? So therefore, we should not distinguish based on caste or based on birth. Avoid criticizing based on the birth in a low family. Focus on the primary quality, that is service to the Lord. Overlook the low birth. Even if not born in the Brahmana family or Goswami family, we should overlook the low birth. Importance of the title Goswami. So Goswami title, right? Many people in Vrindavan and many people in West Bengal, they think that Goswami is a monopoly of pure devotees, right? So Goswami is a family heritage, right? Consider that somebody who is worshipping these, who are basically serving in the 7 temples of Vrindavan, they only are entitled to the title of Goswami. But Prabhupada, what he's saying here is the title Goswami is a monopoly of pure devotees, right? One who is a pure devotee, Goswami means controller of senses, right? Controller of senses and mind. So anybody who has controlled his senses, anybody who has controlled his mind can be called a Goswami. So it is not a family heritage or family lineage, but it is based on how he is able to control his senses and mind. So, because a pure devotee is controlled his senses and mind, therefore it is the monopoly of pure devotees. There cannot be a family of Goswamis based on material considerations, caste, or heredity. Example: 6 Goswamis headed by Rupa and Sanatan Goswami, right? So these six Goswamis were given the title by Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, right? If we see, Rupa and Sanatan Goswami actually were born in Brahman family, Gaudiya Saraswat Brahman family, but actually after that, because of the association of Nawab Hussain Shah, they became Muslims, Mohammedans, and from the external point of view, from the social point of view, they actually fell down from the this thing from the what is that social point of view, but Chaitanya Mahaprabhu gave them this new names of Rupa and Sanatan and made them Goswamis of Vrindavan, right? So, so actually, this Goswami is not based on family heritage or family caste heritage. It is based on one who is able to control his senses and mind. True meaning, one whose senses are controlled, one who is a master of senses. A pure devotee has fully controlled the senses. So, pure devotee can be called a Goswami. Such a pure devotee is non-envious and prideless. So first offense was criticizing based on bodily defects. Second is criticizing based on birth. Third is seeing with a material vision, that is materialistic vision or prakrita vision. To think that Krishna consciousness is limited to certain section of people to practice. Only people who are born in the family of Nityananda Prabhu or people who are born in the family of Advaita Prabhu, only they can practice Krishna consciousness, right? Or only those people who are born in Vrindavan can practice. No. So to think that Krishna consciousness is limited to certain section of people to practice, in a certain tract of land to practice, or only certain devotees to practice, they are generally prone to see the external features only. Unable to appreciate the exalted service of the advanced devotee, they try to bring the Mahabhagavata to their platform. So, seeing with a materialistic vision that only Brahmanas can practice Krishna consciousness, only these people can practice and these people cannot practice, right? Only rich people can practice and other people cannot practice. So, this is materialistic vision, right? So, if we see with this vision, we will be committing offenses, right? Envy, right? Prabhupada is in elaborately explaining about envy, how Mahabhagavata should not be envied, that he is preaching the Krishna consciousness all over the world. He's spreading this movement all over the world, right? How he is spreading, so therefore we start criticizing him. So Prabhupada tells that without Krishna's energy or without empowerment of Krishna, one cannot preach all over the world, right? So if a person is preaching all over the world, means he's being empowered by Krishna. So instead of being envious of him, basically appreciate that he is actually attracted to the mercy of Krishna. That is what Prabhupada is explaining in the purport. The envious try to criticize pure devotees in every respect, bring pure devotees to their platform, engage in name activities due to poor fund of knowledge, right? An empowered devotee engaged in the confidential service should not be treated as an ordinary human being. For it is stated that unless one is empowered by Lord Krishna, one cannot spread the Krishna conscious movement all over the world. Criticizing a pure devotee, one commits an offense. Vaishnava aparadha is very obstructive and dangerous. One cannot derive any spiritual benefit by an offense, right? So therefore, by anyway, the pure devotee, if we criticize a pure devotee, or if a person, a Mahabhagavata devotee who is preaching all over the world, by our criticism, his preaching movement or his preaching activities will not stop, right? So therefore, there is no point in criticizing a pure devotee. There is no point in criticizing a Mahabhagavata, because we don't get any benefit out of that. Therefore, instead of offending, instead of criticizing, instead of being envious, what we can do is we can appreciate, right, with a broad heart. Oh, I may not be empowered, right? I may not be, because I have not attracted the mercy of Krishna. I may not be a great devotee, but Krishna has empowered this particular devotee to preach all over the world, or to basically make devotees, right? So instead of I being envious, I should take a humble role and try to appreciate the mercy flowing through this devotee, right? Everyone should therefore be very careful not to be jealous of an empowered Vaishnava or a Shuddha Vaishnava. Yes. To subject to disciplinary action. Oh, this Vaishnava has fallen down, so we need to correct him. We need to give him some punishment. It is an offense to consider an empowered Vaishnava an object of disciplinary action, right? So this is offense that oh, he needs to be corrected, he needs to be punished, he has made a mistake, right? So we need to correct him. So this is an offense, right? To offer advice, it is an offense to try to give an advice unless asked for, right? So pure devotees, we should not advise pure devotees unless and until they ask you. We should not advise them. To correct, it is offensive to try to correct a Mahabhagavata devotee, right? Materially, sometimes somebody may do what is that? Some things he may not be so very good in operating computer, very good in technicalities of technology and all, right? But taking a humble role, we should try to serve him, not try to correct that devotee or not try to offer advice to that devotee unless and until we are asked for. So effect of any, these are the 7 offenses, right? Basically, the 7 offenses are to try to correct a devotee, to offer advice a pure devotee, to subject to disciplinary action, right? To be envious, to distinguish based on caste, to distinguish based on birth, and to criticize the bodily effects and seeing with the material vision. So these are the 7 offenses. So what are the effects of the 7 offenses? Effect of any of the 7 offenses is obstructive and dangerous. We may lose our taste for the practice of Krishna consciousness. We may go out of the association of devotees. Therefore, one should avoid seeing the pure devotee from a material point of view, and thus one can gradually become a purified devotee oneself. Yes, we'll go back to the purport. Yes, somebody can read from here, even though pure devotee.
Even though a pure devotee may not be born in a Brahmana or Goswami family, if he is engaged in the service of the Lord, he should not be neglected. In actuality, there cannot be family of Goswami based on material consideration, caste or heredity. The Goswami title is actually the monopoly of the pure devotee. Thus, we speak of the 6 Goswami, headed by Rup Goswami and Sanatan Goswami. Rup Goswami and Sanatan Goswami had practically become Mohammedan and had therefore changed their name to Bira Khasa and Sakra Malik. But Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu himself made them Goswamis. Therefore, the Goswami title is not hereditary. The word Goswami refers to one who can control his senses, who is master of the senses. A devotee is not controlled by the senses. No, senses, but it is the control of the senses. Consequently, he should be called Swami and Goswami, even though he may not be born in Goswami family.
Yes.
According to this formula, the Goswamis who are descendant of Sri Nityanand Prabhu and Sri Advait Prabhu are certainly devotee, but devotee coming from other families should not be discriminated against. Indeed, whether the devotee come from a family of previous acharya or from an ordinary family, they should be treated equally. One should not think, oh, there is an American Goswami and discriminate against him. Nor should one think here is a Nityanand Vamsa Goswami. There is an undercurrent of protest against our awarding the title Goswami to the American Vaishnava of the Krishna conscious movement. Sometimes people fairly tell the American devotee that their sannyasa or title of Goswami is not bona fide. However, according to the statement of Srila Rupa Goswami in this verse, an American Goswami and a Goswami in the family of Acharya are none different.
Yes, somebody else can continue.
On the other hand, a devotee who has attained the title of Goswami but is not born of a Brahmana father or of a Goswami in the family of Nityananda or Advaita Prabhu should not be artificially puffed up by thinking that he has become a Goswami. He should always remember that as soon as he becomes materially puffed up, he immediately falls down. The Krishna consciousness movement is a transcendental science, and there is no room for jealousy. This movement is meant for Paramahansas, who are completely free from all jealousies. Parama Nirmasaranam. One should not be jealous whether he is born in a family of Goswamis or has the title of Goswami awarded to him. As soon as anyone becomes envious, he falls from the platform of Paramahansas.
Yeah,
If
as
we
soon as anyone becomes envious, he falls from the platform of Paramahamsa. So Prabhupada is telling that whatever situation one may be, whether we are born in a family of Goswamis or we are avoided the title of Goswamis, we should never become puffed up. We should always remain humble. Pranadapi sunichena tarorapi sahishnana amani namanadena kirtanade sadahari. Our goal is to 20 continuously chant the holy name of the Lord. 24 hours we want to chant, right? So for that, the formula is we should always be humble and meek, more humble than a blade of grass, more tolerant than a tree, offer all respects to all Vaishnavas, offer all respects to all living entities, and never expect any respect in return, right? So only then we will be able to achieve that goal of continuously or 24 hours chanting the holy name of the Lord. Therefore, we should always be careful not to become materially puffed up, right? That is what Prabhupada is telling here. Yes, Proji, continue.
if we consider the bodily defects of a Vaishnava, we should understand that we are committing an offense at the lotus feet of the Vaishnava. As an offense at the lotus feet of a Vaishnava is very serious. Indeed, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu has described these offenses as Hatimata, the mad elephant offense. A mad elephant can create a disaster, especially when it enters into the nicely trimmed garden. One should therefore be very careful not to commit any offense against the Vaishnava. Every devotee should be ready to take instructions from a superior Vaishnava, and a superior Vaishnava must be ready to help an inferior Vaishnava in all respects. One is superior or inferior according to his spiritual development in Krishna consciousness. One is forbidden to observe the activities of a pure Vaishnava from a material point of view. For the neophytes, especially considering a pure devotee from a material point of view is a very injurious. One should therefore avoid observing a pure devotee externally, but should try to see internal features and understand how he is engaged in the transcendental loving service of the Lord. In this way, one can avoid seeing the pure devotee from a material point of view, and thus one can gradually become purified devotee himself.
Yes, so
Those who
if you see in this paragraph, before this paragraph, we discussed offenses based on birthright, right? In this paragraph, especially offenses or distinguishing or offending a Vaishnava based on bodily defects and offending a Vaishnava by seeing on a material platform is discussed in this particular paragraph. And this material point of view, seeing a Vaishnava material point of view is further discussed in the next paragraph also. Yes, Roji, continue.
those who think that Krishna consciousness is limited to certain section of people, a certain section of devotees, or a certain tract of land are generally prone to see the external features of the devotee. Such neophytes, unable to appreciate the exalted service of the advanced devotee, try to bring the Mahabhagavat to their platform. We experience such difficulty in propagating this Krishna consciousness all over the world. Unfortunately, we are surrounded by neophytes, God brothers, who do not appreciate the extraordinary activities of spreading Krishna consciousness all over the world. They simply try to bring us to their platform, and they try to criticize us in every respect. We very much regret their naive activities and poor fond of knowledge. An empowered person who is actually engaged in the confidential service of the Lord should not be treated as an ordinary human being. For it is stated that unless one is empowered by Krishna, one cannot spread the Krishna consciousness movement all over the world.
Yes.
When one
So this particular paragraph, how we can apply in our life is sometimes some devotees we may see that devotees whom we are staying basically who may be staying with us, right? There are some devotees who may have great taste in chanting the holy name. There may be some devotees who may have taste for preaching Krishna Katha. They may have taste for hearing Krishna Katha, and we may observe that I may not have that taste, right? So immediate tendency is that, oh, he is just making a show off, right? Or he is also a neophyte, right? And he's just making a show off. This is the immediate, and we start criticizing them, right? But we should understand that, consider that this devotee may be initiated with me, or he may have come in the same year as I have come in Krishna consciousness. We may have started chanting at the same time, right? But we have to understand that this Krishna consciousness, practice of Krishna consciousness, is not limited only to this lifetime. It's not that both of us came into Krishna consciousness at the same time, so both of our status or both of our advancement should be same. No, because Krishna consciousness is from previous births. So I may have started Krishna consciousness in this life, and another devotee who has come into Krishna consciousness along with me externally we may see that he has also started Krishna consciousness along with me, but he might be very very advanced in the previous lives. Only he must have practiced lot of Krishna consciousness, and in this life some portion of Krishna consciousness may be remaining to practice. Therefore, he has come here, right? So therefore, externally we should not judge that, oh, this devotee came in Krishna consciousness with me only, and now he is advancing so swiftly and I am still remaining behind, right? He is empowered and I am not empowered. So we should not see this, right? Because empowerment comes from Krishna. Empowerment comes from Krishna. Therefore, and Krishna is able to see many lives, right? He is able to see everything in our life, everything in everybody's devotee's life, right? So therefore, if some devotee is very very swiftly advancing Krishna consciousness, what we should do? We should be happy that I may not be able to advance so swiftly, but at least this devotee is very happy, very nicely advancing in Krishna consciousness. So my spiritual master tells in the lecture that if a devotee is happy of the success of another devotee, right, then he immediately receives the mercy of Krishna, or he makes very swift advancement in Krishna consciousness. Therefore, whenever we are seeing that a devotee is being appreciated, whenever we see that a devotee is being empowered, whenever we see that a devotee is making very swift advancement, that is the opportunity for us to please Krishna, right? How? When we become happy seeing that devotee's advancement, when we become happy seeing that that devotee is empowered, right, we will receive the mercy of Krishna, right? If we are happy, then we will receive the mercy of Krishna. Why we should be happy? We should be happy because he is receiving the mercy of Krishna. He has pleased Krishna, therefore he has received the mercy of Krishna. Therefore, if we are happy, Krishna will be pleased with us, understanding that this devotee is happy seeing me, seeing my empowerment to that devotee, right? So that's how Krishna will be pleased, and we will also make advancement. So therefore, but if we don't have a proper consciousness, we start criticizing the devotee. We start telling that the devotee is just making a show off. He will fall down in some time. Then what will happen is we will lose the mercy. We will not be able to please Krishna, and eventually we may lose the whatever we are practicing. Also, we may come down, right? So therefore, it is very very important to have a proper consciousness while we are staying in the association of devotees. Yes, continue, Prabhuji.
When one thus criticizes a pure devotee, he commits an offense, Vaishnava aparadh, that is very obstructive and dangerous for those who desire to advance in Krishna consciousness. A person cannot derive any spiritual benefit when he offends the lotus feet of a Vaishnava. Everyone should therefore be very careful not to be jealous of an empowered Vaishnava or a Shuddha Vaishnava. It is also an offense to consider an empowered Vaishnava an object of disciplinary action. It is offense. It is offensive to try to give him advice or to correct him.
One can distinguish between neophyte Vaishnava and advanced Vaishnava by their activities. The advanced Vaishnava is always situated as spiritual master, and the neophyte is always considered as disciple. The spiritual master must not be subjected to the advice of a disciple, nor should a spiritual master be obliged to take instructions from those who are not his disciples. This is the sum and substance of Srila Rupa Goswami's advice in the 6th verse, right? So this completes this.
Neophyte is always considered his disciple. In the 6th verse.
If any devotee has any questions, you can ask. Otherwise, continue with the next verse. If nobody has questions, then we will continue with the next verse. We'll just take, I'll just need 5 minutes break. I'll come back. We'll again continue in just 5 minutes. right? I'll just give me 2-3 minutes. I'll come back. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu.
Hare Krishna.
Sir, Prabhuji, one question.
Yes.
So, as we see in this verse, so in Krishna conscious movement, in process, there is no place of jealous. So, actually, we are in a material platform. We are practicing Krishna conscious, but we always fall in that we are jealous with some devotee also. So, how can we avoid this? How can prepare ourselves to not fall on that space?
Yeah. So one thing we have to understand, that whenever we are able to see our anarthas, we have to see it as mercy of Krishna, because at least Krishna is showing us what is there in the heart, right? Like kama, krodha, moha, mada, matsara. As soon as we see that we are becoming lusty, we are becoming greedy, we are becoming envious of a devotee, we are becoming angry, right? So all these are basically mercy of Krishna to make us humble, right? So first of all, we should thank Krishna that at least I am able to understand that I have these anarthas. Consider that Krishna doesn't show our anarthas, then what will happen is we'll become proud, and pride is the greatest obstacle, right? Pride, as soon as pride comes, immediately we fall down, right? So even Jesus Christ tells that pride cometh before the fall, right? So as soon as pride is there, the next step is we fall down, right? So therefore, as soon as we see that these anarthas are there, immediately we should become humble, and we should first of all pray to Krishna that, my Lord, you are empowering this particular devotee, right? I am not able to see. We are basically not able to see Krishna's connection there, right? How he is being, what we are envious of is he's being empowered. He is giving more classes than me. He has more followers than me, right? He has more wealth than me, right? He is doing more preaching activities. He's more advanced than me. This is what we are jealous of, right? So but all that is happening because of empowerment of Krishna, because he has pleased Krishna in some way. Therefore, he is able to do that, right? So first of all, we should see Krishna's connection, and then immediately we should go to Krishna and pray that, my Lord, I am not able to see your connection here. So please bless me that I will be able to see your connection. That he is getting empowered because of your empowerment, because of your Shakti, right? So let me, what is that? Let me see that, let me appreciate that I am becoming jealous. So please forgive me and please purify my heart so that this jealousy may go away, right? This is one thing. And second thing is, now you are jealous, but don't criticize, right? Internally, there are many things going on, right? Consider that when we go outside in the material world, we may become lusty, right? But we should not act upon it, right? We should not act upon it and break the four regular principles, right? As long as we're in the material world, all these things will be going on in mentally, but we should not act upon it, right? So therefore, we may be jealous, but we should not criticize that devotee. We should not try to bring him down. That crab mentality. Somebody is going up, I pull his leg, right? So we should not try to criticize him. We should not make some rumors about him, that what is that? Make some stories about that devotee, that actually that devotee is not advanced. He is such, and he is also what is that? He is also such and such. He is running behind women. He is behind money. Like that, in ISKCON, many of these things happen. Whenever somebody becomes jealous, he may starts making wrong things about that. He starts saying wrong things about that person, which may actually not be true, right? So internally we may be becoming jealous, but externally we should not bring it outside and pollute the minds of other devotees, right? Instead, what we should do, we should try to what is that? Try to purify our consciousness by reading Prabhupada purports, by hearing our spiritual masters lectures, right? We may also chant some rounds extra, or consider that we are staying away from temple. We can sometimes come to temple, attend morning program in the association of devotees, right? By that, what happens is our heart becomes purified, our mind becomes purified, and then we will be able to overcome this particular anartha, right? So whatever may go on in the mind, but we should not act upon it. We should understand that this is wrong. What I am thinking or whatever my feelings are, it is wrong. First of all, this we should understand, and we should not act upon it, and we should try to rectify that particular mentality. Is this clear, Prabhuji?
Thank you, Prabhuji. Thank you.
Hare Krishna. Any other questions, or we will continue with the next verse? So next verse is verse number 7. It's on the holy name. Yes. So in this verse, we will be seeing the stages of bhakti, how in the Nectar of Instruction verses, how these different stages of bhakti are basically dealt in each respective verse, right? So chanting the holy name of the Lord. This verse basically deals with chanting the holy name of the Lord. So from text 1 to 7, that is text 1 to 7, Vaidhi Sadhana Bhakti is discussed. Text number 1 to 7, this is 7th verse. And in text 1 to 3, what was discussed was Shraddha, right? Text 1 was Vacho Vegam Manasa Krodha Vegam. And text 2 also discussed what we are not supposed to do. Text 3 was Utsahat Nishaya Dhairya Tat Tat Karma Pravartanat. So text 1 to 3, in Bhakti, there are basically 9 stages: Shraddha, Sadhu Sangha, Bhajana Kriya, Anartha Nivritti, Nishta, Ruchi, Asakti, Bhav, and Prem. So these are the different stages of devotional service. So text 1 to 3 discusses the first stage only, that is Shraddha. Text 4 to 6 discuss about sadhu sangha, right? Fourth was basically what is that? Fourth discussed about different types of devotees, right? That is Kanishtadhikari, Madhyamadhikari, Uttamadhikari, right? Text 6.
Dadati, Dadati.
How basically this thing, what is that? Loving symptoms, right? Dadati Pratigranati. How in the Vaishnava association we can develop love. In text 5, we discussed about different types of devotees, Uttamadhikari, Madhyamadhikari, Kanishtadhikari. Text 6, we saw how externally we should not observe a pure devotee, but we should internally try to see a pure devotee, how we should deal with a pure devotee. So therefore, sadhu sangha, how we can associate with devotees, how we can, behave ourselves in the association of devotees. Now, text 7 is Bhajan Kriya. Text 7 discusses related to Bhajan Kriya, Anartha Nivritti, Nishtha, and Ruchi. So, in order to come to the platform of Uttam Bhakti, we must first cleanse our consciousness of the materialistic contamination that covers the mirror of the heart. By carefully chanting the Hare Krishna Mahamantra every day, we gradually become cured of the jaundice of ignorance and we revive the knowledge of our blissful constitutional position as Lord Krishna's servant, right? So therefore, this chanting of Hare Krishna Mahamantra, because this is a Yuga Dharma, right? This is every Yuga or every age, right? Satya, Treta, Dwapar and Kali, every age has its own Yuga Dharma, and especially for this age, Kali Yuga, the Yuga Dharma is the chanting of the holy name of the Lord. Therefore, it is very, very important that we understand how to chant the holy names properly. What is Aparadhanam, what is Shuddhanam, what is Namabhasa, and try to come to the level of Shuddhanama, right? So therefore, it is very, very important because the chanting of the holy name, our main purification happens by the chanting of the holy name of the Lord. Therefore, it is very, very important that we learn to chant the holy name properly. Yes. So it is important that we learn to chant the holy name of the Lord properly. Yes. So this verse basically describes about the process of performing bhajan of Sri Krishna's names and pastimes. So this is the verse. I'll chant and you can repeat behind me. Shat Krishna Nama Charita Dishita Vidya Pittopataptarasanasya Narochikanu Kintu Adaratanu Khalu Saiva Jushta Swadvikrama Dhavati Tadgata Mula Hantri. Yes. So this is the verse. So we'll just discuss the meaning line by line. It is very simple. Syat Krishna Nama Charitabdi Shitaptya Vidya, right? So Krishna Nama Charitadi, right? Krishna Nama Charitadi, that is Krishna's holy names, Nama Rupa Guna Leela, that is the holy name of Krishna, Nama, the form of the beautiful form of Krishna, Rupa, the qualities of Krishna, and Nama Rupa and the pastimes of Krishna. Krishna Nama Charitadi Sitapti, right? Sita, that is basically they are very, very sweet like a sugar candy, right? So even though they are sweet, right, still it is very sweet. All these are very sweet, but avidya pittopatapta, right? A person who is ignorant about this, right? Who is actually grossly into ignorance and who is tongue rasanasya, right? Rasanasya, tongue is basically covered with pitta, right? Consider that a person has jaundice disease, right? So his tongue will be covered with bile. Jaundice disease basically means the level of bile in the liver increases. So because of that, due to some infection, so then a person will not be able to taste the sweetness of sugar candy. He will not be able to taste the sweetness of sugarcane juice, right? So it will appear bitter for a person with a jaundice, right? Jaundice tongue. If his tongue is covered by bile, then he will not be able to taste the sweetness of sugarcane juice or sugarcane candy. Similarly, even though Krishna's Nama, Rupa, Guna, Leela are all very sweet, right? But a person with avidya, this materialistic disease of avidya, or if his tongue is covered with avidya, right? Just like it is covered, if a tongue is covered with pitta, he will not be able to taste the sweetness of sugar or sugar candy. Similarly, a person whose tongue is covered by avidya, right, will not be able to taste the sweetness of Krishna Nama Rupa Guna Leela. Na rochika, right? He will not be able to taste it. Even though he will not be able to taste it, still this is the problem. He has a materialistic disease. He's presently we are in that materialistic disease. We are not able to taste Nama Rupa Guna Leela. Therefore, when we are chanting Hare Krishna 16 rounds, we think, when will this 16 rounds get over, right? When as soon as first round gets over, we'll pull the Sakshi money and we'll say 15 more remaining. And even after 15 rounds are done, last round is remaining, we'll tell 15 is done and one round is still remaining, right? So because we don't have that eagerness, we don't have that taste, we want to just finish off chanting and we want to keep the feedback and never want to see it in that day, right? So, and also while we are hearing class, we may fall asleep, right? And while we are hearing the pastimes of the Lord, while hearing the qualities of the Lord, we don't have taste. We want to just we are thinking, when will this class end? When will this narration of the qualities of the Lord end, right? So why? Because we don't have that taste. Why we don't have taste? Because we are covered with the disease of ignorance. Our tongue is covered with ignorance. Our tongue is covered with the bile of ignorance, right? So therefore, na rochika, we don't have taste. Still, no. Still, right, there is a solution. What is that solution? Kintu adarat anudinam kalu saiva jushta, right? So, but even if that disease is there, if adarat, with respect, anudinam, every day, regularly, 24 hours a day, right? Prabhupada, in the translation, anudinam, he tells every day, regularly, and 24 hours a day. Kintu adarat anudinam kalu saiva jushta. If with eagerness, with respect, and with every day, if he chants the holy name, if he hears the pastimes of the Lord, kintu adarat anudinam kalu saiva jushta, swadvi, gradually, swadvi kramad, kramad means gradually, swadvi means he will be able to taste, right, the holy name, the nectar of the holy name, right? And this disease of ignorance, tadgata moolahantri, and this disease of ignorance, avidya, will be removed from moola, from the root, and it will be removed from the root and it will be thrown away, right? So just like a jaundiced person has a disease, he is not able to taste the sweetness of sugar candy, he is not able to taste the sugarcane juice. Still, what is the medicine? What is the remedy? Remedy is the sugarcane juice itself. Remedy is the sugarcane candy itself, right? If he regularly, gradually, with respect, keep on tasting that sugarcane juice every day, that juice will initially appear bitter, but as it takes on, gradually, what happens is that disease reduces, the bile reduces, and he will be able to taste the sweetness of the sugarcane juice. Similarly, a person who is diseased, who has ignorance in the heart, whose tongue is covered with ignorance, will not be able to taste the holy names of the Lord. But what is the solution? Solution is the holy name itself. Solution is the sugarcane juice itself for jaundice. Similarly, the solution is the holy name or the Nama Rupa Guna Leela of the Lord. That itself is the solution for this materialistic disease of avidya. So every day, regularly, if he with respect chants the holy name of the Lord, then gradually he will be able to taste the holy name, and this disease of avidya, which is there in the heart, the root is there in the heart, will be thrown out with the root outside, and he will be cured completely, and he will be able to taste the holy name. Yeah, I'll just read the translation. The holy name, character, pastimes, and activities of Krishna are all transcendently sweet like sugar candy. Although the tongue of one afflicted by the jaundice of avidya cannot taste anything sweet, it is wonderful that simply by carefully chanting the sweet names every day, a natural relish awakens within his tongue and his disease is gradually destroyed at the root. Right? So this is a translation of the verse. Yes. In the third verse of Sri Upadeshamrit, qualities and activities that nourish bhakti were given. That is, that qualities and activities that nourish bhakti were given. What was that? Utsaha, Nishaya, Dhairya, Tat Tat Karma Pravartanat, Sangatyaga Sato Vritte, Shadvir Bhakti Prasiddhati. So, in addition to those qualities, so this will nourish bhakti. Now, in addition to those qualities, right, and activities, this was describes a procedure for the cultivation of chanting Krishna Nam and so forth with Sambandha Jnana, that I am servant of Krishna, Krishna is my master, and holy name is my master. The tongue afflicted with the jaundice of avidya cannot narrate Sri Krishna's pastimes or chant his name, right? So because now we are covered with the avidya, therefore, even though we want to chant, sincerely we want to chant, but still the holy name does not come out. With great difficulty, we chant the holy name, or sometimes for chanting the holy name, we fall asleep. Why? Because our tongue is afflicted with the jaundice, and the tongue afflicted with the jaundice of avidya cannot narrate Sri Krishna's pastimes or chant his name. But regularly taking the sugar candy of hearing and chanting Lord Krishna's Naam, Roop, Guna, Leela with great respect, one is capable of eradicating the disease of ignorance, avidya. Therefore, it is very, very important that we come in the association of devotees, chant the holy name, hear Bhagavatam class, or regularly, either at least on weekends, Sundays, we come in the association of devotees, we hear, we chant, because the disease will very swiftly go away when it is done in the association of devotees. Especially, I was hearing one class of His Holiness Gaur Swami Maharaj, where Maharaj was telling that chanting in the association of devotees means offenseless chanting. He was telling, I remember this statement clearly, that if you are in the association of devotees and chanting the holy name, that is offenseless chanting. If you are alone chanting, then we may commit many offenses. But as soon as we come in the association of devotees, then that is offenseless chanting. Why? Because Krishna himself tells, Naham tishtami vaikunte yogina hridayeshu va tatra tishtami narada tad bhakteshu, where my devotees are actually glorifying my Nama, Rupa, Guna, Lila. Krishna is telling that I am present there. I may not be present in Vaikunta, I may not be present in the yogi's heart, right? But where I am present in that assembly of devotees, where my devotees are chanting my holy name, my devotees are glorifying my name, form, qualities, and pastimes. Therefore, it is this association of devotees that Srila Prabhupada has given us, the ISKCON society, is a great benediction. So we should take advantage of it. If not every day, at least some days we should come in the association of devotees, sit with them, chant the holy names, hear Krishna Katha. Then what will happen is our progress will be very, very swift, right? So main themes discussed in text 7, the holy name, pastimes, etc., sweet like sugar candy, Shad Krishna Nama Charita Dishita. Our tongue is diseased by jaundice, avidya, dislikes, api, avidya, pitto patapta rasanasya narochikanu. One should carefully chant the sweet names every day. Bhajana kriya, kintu adarat anudinam khalu saiva jushta. Disease gradually destroyed from root, that is anartha nivritti, tadgata mula hantri, and gradually awaken the natural relish, that is nishta and ruchi, swadvi kramad bhavati. So we were discussing that in this text 7 basically discusses bhajana kriya, anartha nivritti, nishta and ruchi, and this is how it is, right? Kintu adarat anudinam khalu saiva jushta is bhajana kriya. Tadgata mula hantri is anartha nivritti, swadi kramad bhavati is nishta and ruchi, right? Yeah, nature of Lord's holy name is qualities and pastimes. They are the absolute truth, right? There is no difference between the Lord's holy name, Nama, Rupa, Guna, Lila, and the Lord himself, right? Because they are absolute truth, right? They are full of beauty, full of bliss, and full of sweetness. Sweet like sugar candy, which appeals to everyone, right? But the problem is the sweetness of the sugar candy appears bitter due to avidya or niscience. When a person is jaundiced, so he cannot taste the sugar candy. Similarly, we have ignorance in our heart. Therefore, the Nama, Rupa, Guna, Lila appears bitter to us, right? So therefore, we do not have taste for the holy name, form, etc. Despite this disease, if one with great care and attention takes to Krishna consciousness, chanting and hearing, ignorance, avidya will be destroyed and is enabled to taste Lord's sweetness. Such recovery is possible only by regular cultivation of Krishna consciousness. Regular, every day, right? Every day, this cultivation should happen. Yeah, so a person who is deceased, now we are deceased, therefore we take more interest in materialistic way of life, whereas in normal condition, we are eternal servant of Supreme Lord Krishna. Therefore, we give priority to Krishna than my own materialistic life or my own sense gratification. Jiver Swarupai Krishna Nirtadas. So what is the cause of the disease? Individual causes, right? Ignorance and forgetfulness that is there for many millions of lifetimes. This is the cause of disease. And even in this lifetime, we are distracted by the Maya or attracted by Maya. And also, there are many false shelters, right? We take shelter of false shelter like money, bungalows, right? Materialistic properties, materialistic friends, materialistic relatives, we take false shelter of all these things, and because of that also the disease, the avidya in the heart is increasing. The world of Maya is called as Durashraya. We are taking Durashraya, therefore the avidya is increasing. Daivi Yesha Gunamayi Mama Maya Duratyaya Mameva Prapadyante Maya Metam Tarantite. So Maya is very, very difficult. Maya, the external energy of the Lord, this material world, the Maya is very, very difficult to be overcome. Duratyaya, Krishna himself is telling that Mama Maya Duratyaya, it is very, very difficult to overcome. But Mamevai Prapadyante Maya Metam Tarantite. If somebody takes shelter of me, right, of my Nama Rupa Gunalila, then Etam Mamevai Prapadyante Maya Metam Tarantite. This energy of mine is very difficult, but if somebody takes shelter of me, can easily overcome it. So such a devotee who takes shelter of the Lord becomes a candidate for hoping against hope, and person who is actually deceased, right, he is actually in ignorance, he becomes a candidate for hoping against hope, and he cannot understand the mistakes. And also collective causes, the leadership itself is atheistic, and sometimes because of that atheistic leadership, people cannot take full shelter of the Lord. So these are the causes of the disease. Individual causes, our ignorance, forgetfulness, we are distracted by Maya, we are taken false shelter. And also the politicians, there are politicians who are pushing us towards sense gratification. So such people, they are trying to rectify one mistake by making another mistake. This is the way of the struggle for existence in the material world. If one in this condition is advised to take Krishna consciousness and be happy, he does not accept such instructions. There, and Krishna consciousness movement is being spread all over the world just to remedy this gross ignorance. But people in general are misled by blind leaders, politicians, philosophers, and scientists because they are not Krishna conscious. Because they are bereft of all factual knowledge due to their atheistic way of life, they are actually sinful rascals and lowest among men. Namam dushritano muda prapadyante naradama maya paritajnana ashrim bhavam ashritaha. So, because of so many problems, right, we have this particular disease of ignorance, and because of which we are not able to taste the Nama Rupa Gunalila of the Lord. Right? So we'll just go through the purport. Yes. Somebody can read?
The holy name of Lord Krishna, his quality, pastimes, and so forth are all of the nature of absolute truth, beauty, and bliss. Naturally, they are very sweet like sugar candy, which appeals to everyone. Nescience, however, is compared to the disease called jaundice, which is caused by bilious secretions. Attacked by jaundice, the tongue of a diseased person cannot palatably relish sugar candy. Rather, a person with jaundice considers something sweet to taste very bitter. Avidya, ignorance, similarly perverts the ability to relish the transcendentally palatable name, quality, form, and pastimes of Krishna. Despite this disease, if one with great care and attention takes to Krishna consciousness, chanting the holy name and hearing Krishna's transcendental pastimes, his ignorance will be destroyed and his tongue enabled to taste the sweetness of the transcendental nature of Krishna and his paraphernalia. Such a recovery of spiritual health is possible only by the regular cultivation of Krishna consciousness. When a man when a
Yes.
man in the material world takes more interest in the materialistic way of life than in Krishna consciousness, he is considered to be in the diseased condition. The normal condition is to remain an eternal servant of the Lord. Jivera Swarupahai Krishnera Nityadas. Chaitanya Charitamrita Mandirila 20.108. This healthy condition is lost when the living entity forgets Krishna due to being attracted by the external features of Krishna's Maya energy. This world of Maya is called Durashaya, which means false or bad shelter. One who puts his faith in Durashaya becomes a candidate for hoping against hope. In the material world, everyone is trying to become happy, and although their material attempts are baffled in every way due to their reasons, they cannot understand their mistakes. People try to rectify one mistake by making another mistake. This is the way of the struggle for existence in the material world. If one in this condition is advised to take to Krishna consciousness and be happy, he does not accept such instructions. This
Yeah. So just 1 minute. We also see in our life also that sometimes we want to we get deviated from the practice of Krishna consciousness, and we want to what is that? We want to associate with Maya, right? Sometimes we get deviated in the modes of passion and ignorance. We want to associate with Maya. We know that that will not give me happiness. But as Prabhupada is telling here, that mm, in the material world, everyone is trying to become happy, and although the material atoms are baffled in every way due to the nescience, they cannot understand these mistakes. People try to rectify one mistake by making another mistake. This is the way of struggle for existence in the material world, right? So even though we get baffled in our attempt to enjoy sense gratification, but still that tendency to enjoy sense gratification does not go. We continue trying. We think that, oh, there must be some enjoyment in the material world. We are not lost that hope that there is some enjoyment in the material world. Therefore, we are not becoming pure devotees, right? So still, even though we read Prabhupada's lectures, we read Prabhupada's books, we hear Prabhupada's lectures, but still there is a hope that yes, I can become happy by sense gratification. I can become happy by money. I can become happy if I buy big bungalows. I can become happy by nice cars, right? So that hope is there. Therefore, therefore it is told that when a man in the material world takes more interest in materialistic way of life than in Krishna consciousness, he is considered to be in a disease condition, right? This is a disease that we know that I cannot become happy in the material world. Material sense gratification cannot make me happy, but still I hope hope against hope. I want to try for material enjoyment, and therefore I take more interest in materialistic way of life than in Krishna consciousness, and therefore we have this disease, right? So therefore, and how can we rectify this mistake? How it is possible? It is possible by, as it is told, swadvi kramad tadgata moola hantri. This disease will be removed from the root, but it will take time. We should continue this process of chanting, hearing, reading. Continue. We should never become discouraged. We should continue, but along with that, we should also try to please Prabhupada, our acharyas, right? We should also try to please our spiritual master, whatever instructions they are given, following the four regulative principles strictly, right? Chanting 16 rounds of Hare Krishna Mahamantra. And along with that, they have given us the mercy of Krishna consciousness. We should also try to distribute it to others, right? The more we distribute this mercy to others, that is how we receive the mercy of acharyas, because it is their desire that Prithivete Acharyadi Nagaradi Gram Sarvatra Prachar Hoiva Muranam. This is Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's desire that this holy name, the holy fame, Nama Rupa Gunolila of Lord, we spread all over the world. Therefore, if we assist our acharyas, we will not be able to do anything because we are not pure devotees, right? But we can just assist, right? We can assist in reaching these books that Prabhupada has written, reaching the holy name to the outside people. When we do that, when we please these acharyas, then there is some hope for us, right? So therefore, we should try to please them. We have been given Krishna consciousness, right? We should try to give it to others also. Yes, continue.
This Krishna consciousness movement is being spread all over the world just to remedy this gross ignorance. People in general are misled by blind leaders. The leaders of human society, the politicians, philosophers, and scientists are blind because they are not Krishna conscious. According to Bhagavad Gita, because they are bereft of the factual knowledge due to their atheistic way of life, they are actually sinful rascals and are the lowest among men. Namam Dushk-
Yes.
Namam Dushkrit नमाम दुष्कृति नो मूढ़ा प्रपद्यन्ते नराधम माया अपहृता ज्ञान असुरम bhavam ashrita. Those miscreants who are grossly foolish, lowest among mankind, whose knowledge is stolen by illusion, and who partake of the atheistic nature of the demons, do not surrender unto me. Bhagavad Gita 7.15.
Yeah. Somebody else can continue.
Such people never surrender to Krishna, and they oppose the endeavor of those who wish to take Krishna's shelter. When such atheistic become leaders of society, the entire atmosphere is surcharged with nescience. In such a condition, people do not become very enthusiastic to receive this Krishna consciousness movement, just as a diseased person suffering from jaundice does not relish the taste of sugar candy. However, one must know that for jaundice, sugar candy is the only specific medicine. Similarly, in the present confused state of humanity, Krishna consciousness, the chanting of the holy name of the Lord, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare, is the only remedy for setting the world aright. Although Krishna consciousness may not be very palatable for a diseased person, Srila Rupa Goswami nonetheless advises that if one wants to be cured of the material disease, he must take to it with great care and attention. One begins his treatment by chanting the Hare Krishna Maha Mantra, because by chanting this holy name of the Lord, a person in the material condition will be relieved from all misconceptions. Cheto Darpana Marjanam. Avidya, a misconception about one's spiritual identity, provides the foundation for ahankar or false ego within the heart. The real disease is in the heart. If the mind is cleansed, however, if consciousness is cleansed, a person cannot be harmed by the material disease. To cleanse the mind and heart from all misconceptions, one should take to this chanting of the Hare Krishna Maha Mantra. This is both easy and beneficial. By chanting the holy name of the Lord, one is immediately freed from the blazing fire of material existence.
Yes. So, as Prabhupada is telling that the disease is there in the heart, or mind is presently contaminated, and mind is very, very powerful, right? So, we will be misled by the mind to go into sense gratification. There are many anarthas in our heart. The mind will mislead us to basically take to the path of sense gratification. It will tell us that, like for example, Prabhupada tells, or I heard in the lecture, that Maya Devi, how she covers the living entity is that for non-devotees, Maya Devi tells that Maya Devi does not allow them to surrender to Krishna, right? She never allows them to take to the path of Krishna consciousness. But already one is a devotee, Maya Devi, what she does is she tells the devotee to postpone the surrender, right? So if somebody wants to become sincere, consider that somebody knows that I'm sleeping in chanting. So what happens is, somebody consider that person A is able to see that person B is sleeping in chanting, right? So person A may think that, why doesn't he stand and chant, right? He does not stand and chant. Even if he's sleeping, he knows he's sleeping. He doesn't want to stand and chant because Maya Devi is postponing the surrender. He is already in the process of surrender, but Maya Devi is postponing the surrender. Therefore, even though he knows that he's sleeping in the chanting, he still sits and dozes, right? So Maya Devi postpones, tells the devotee, oh, there is no need to surrender today, right? Tomorrow you can surrender. And when tomorrow comes, Maya Devi still tells that you can surrender tomorrow. Like this, what happens is lifetime goes away and a person gets cheated by Maya, right? So the mind is very, very powerful, but we have to understand that Krishna is more powerful than the mind, right? And I am supposed to be the controller of the mind. And how I can control the mind is by taking shelter of Krishna. So I should not listen to the mind, but I should listen to Krishna. I should listen to Guru. Guru is telling me to follow the four regulative principles, and mind is telling me, my contaminated mind is telling me to break the four regulative principles, right? Guru is telling me that don't eat anything other than prasad. My contaminated mind is telling me that sometimes you can go and you can eat anyway. You are hungry now. Why you want to wait for prasadam? You can take whatever is there, right? So we should not listen to our contaminated mind, but we should listen to our Guru's instructions, and we should listen to our Krishna's instruction, right? Then what will happen is the mind will slowly becoming subdued. Just like my spiritual master tells that in the heart there are two dogs sitting. One is the good dog and the bad dog, right? So whichever dog you feed, that dog will become more powerful. For example, the good dog inside my heart now, because I'm trying to become a devotee, the good dog sitting inside my heart is telling that, oh, I should get up early in the morning, I should chant my rounds in the Brahma Muhurta, I should every day read Prabhupada books, I should regularly hear, I should go to the temple in the association of devotees, right? And the bad dog is telling that, oh, there is no need to get up early in the morning. Anyway, throughout the day you can chant. There is time while you're going in the bus to your office, you can chant, right? While you are walking, you can chant. While you are seeing the mobile, you can chant. So why there is a need to get up early in the morning and chant the holy names in the Brahma Muhurta, right? And there is no need to go to temple. All are neophytes there, right? You can stay at your home, and here also you can do Shravanam Kirtana. What is the need to go to temple? What is the need of association of devotees, right? So there is bad dog and there is good dog sitting, and they are basically, both of them are barking. And whichever dog we feed, that will become stronger. So if the bad dog is telling us that there is no need to get up early in the morning, that there is no need to follow four regulative principles, that there is no need to chant the holy names, and if you keep on listening to it, it will become stronger. It will become stronger, and it will keep barking stronger and stronger. And one day what will happen is, and at the same time, good dog is also barking. No, don't listen to it. Now you should get up early in the morning. You should chant. Initially, the good dog is also very strong. But as soon as you start listening to bad dog, what happens? The good dog its sound becomes slower, and will not be able to hear, right? So therefore, what we feed, right, in our heart, that is how it will become stronger. If our wrong vasanas and vrittis, if we feed them, then what will happen? It will become stronger, stronger, stronger. And one day we'll see that we are not in the association of devotees. We have stopped chanting the Hare Krishna mantra. We have stopped following the four regulatory principles, and we have again become a karmi. We have again become a materialistic person, right? When we got this path of Krishna consciousness, when we got this chanting of holy name of the Lord, we were so grateful that finally I have been relieved of the materialistic way of life. Finally, I have been given an opportunity to go back to Godhead. But because we were inattentive, because we were careless, what happened is we have again become a non-devotee. We are again gone in the materialistic association, and we are now stopped chanting of Hare Krishna mantra. Therefore, it is very, very important that we don't listen to our mind, right? And we listen to our spiritual master's instructions. We listen to our Prabhupada's instructions. We listen to what Krishna is telling in the Bhagavad Gita. Therefore, it is very, very important that we regularly chant, read, hear in the association of devotees, right? Otherwise, one day we will see that we are out of the association of devotees. And once we go out of the association of devotees, Maya Devi will not allow us to again come back into the association of devotees. Very, very difficult. We can see those devotees have already given up the practice of Krishna consciousness. We call them, they don't lift the call. We tell them to come to temple, they don't want to come to the temple, right? It's very difficult. So therefore, mind will tell us, just like Prabhupada tells that Maya Devi enters like a needle and comes out like a plow. Like there is a very famous story wherein a sheikh was there. Sheikh was there in a desert, and it was very, very cold, right? He was in a tent. So in the tent was very, very warm. So the one camel was there. His camel was there, who was staying outside the tent, and it was very cold. He was freezing out in the outside cold. So the camel told Sheikh. Sheikh was very sleep. He was fast asleep in the night. So the camel put his nose inside the tent and woke up the Sheikh and told that, Sheikh, 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 Sheikh. The Sheikh told the camel, what happened? Why are you waking me up in the night? So the camel told the Sheikh, oh, it is freezing outside. I will die. So please allow at least my nose, that I can keep my nose, my face inside the tent. Sheikh told, whatever you want to do, you do. Please don't disturb me. Right? Again, the camel disturbed the sleep of Sheikh and told that, Sheikh, 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 my entire face and my entire body is freezing. At least allow my entire face to be kept in in the tent. So the Sheikh allowed him. So similarly, the Sheikh allowed slowly. By the morning, the Sheikh started freezing in the outside cold. What happened is the camel came like a needle, slowly entered the tent, and he pushed outside the Sheikh, and he himself occupied the tent. So similarly, Maya Devi, it will come like a needle. Maya Devi will come like a needle, enter our heart, and will come out like a plow. Maya Devi will tell, oh, we know that we should not taste anything other than prasad. Maya Devi will tell, anyway, you are chanting 16 rounds of Hare Krishna Mahamantra. You sometimes chant extra also. You are following four regulatory principles, right? Sometimes if you go outside to a restaurant and taste something which is not prasadam, which is not cooked by devotees, what is the problem in that, right? So like this, Maya Devi enters slowly. And sometimes consider that we are regularly getting up early in the morning and we are chanting our rounds in Brahma Muhurta. Maya Devi sometime one day tells that, Arey, every day you are getting up. One day if you don't get up, maybe half an hour if you get up late, or 1 hour if you get up late, or 2 hours if you get up late. Anyway, throughout today is Sunday. Anyway, you can chant in the daytime. What is the issue? So like that, what happens is one day you get up late and you chant in the daytime. Next day again, Maya Devi tells the same thing. So like this, Maya Devi enters like a needle and comes out like a plow. Therefore, we should not give room for Maya Devi to enter in our heart, and we should be very, very careful. And that carefulness can come only when we associate with devotees. Only by satsanga, sadhu sanga, only this is possible, right? So therefore, this is very, very important. Yes. So can somebody continue? There are these 3 stages in chanting of the holy name.
There are 3 stages in chanting the holy name of the Lord. The offensive stage, the stage of lessening offense, and the pure stage. When a neophyte takes to the chanting of the Hare Krishna mantra, he generally commits many offenses. There are 10 basic offenses, and if devotee avoids this, he can glimpse the next stage, which is situated between offensive chanting and pure chanting. When one attains the pure stage, he is immediately liberated. This is called the Bhava Mahadavangiri Nirvapanam. As soon as one is liberated from blazing fire of the material existence, he can relish the taste of transcendental life. The conclusion is that in order to get the freed from material disease, one must take to the chanting of the Hare Krishna mantra. The Krishna conscious movement is especially meant for creating an atmosphere in which people can take to the chanting of the holy Hare Krishna Maha Mantra. One must begin with a faith, and when this faith is increased by chanting, a person can become a member of society. We are sending Sankirtan parties all over the world, and they are expressing that even in the remotest part of the world where there is a knowledge of Krishna, the Hare Krishna Maha Mantra, thousands of men to our camp. In some area, people begin to imitate the devotee of shaving their heads and chanting the Hare Krishna Maha Mantra. Only a few days after hearing the mantra, this may be imitative, but imitation of a good thing is desired. Some imitators gradually become interested in being initiated by the spiritual master, and offer themselves for the initiation. If one is sincere, he is initiated, and this stage is called the bhajan kriya. One then actually engages in the service of the Lord by the regular chanting the Hare Krishna Maha Mantra 16 round daily, and refraining from the illicit sex, intoxication, meditating, and gambling. By bhajan kriya, one attains the freedom from the contamination of the materialistic life. He no longer goes to the restaurant or a hotel to taste so-called palatable dishes made with the meat and onion, nor does he care to smoke or drink tea or coffee. He not only refrain from illicit sex but avoid the sex like life entirely, nor he is interested in wasting his time in the speculating or gambling in this way. It is to be understood that one is becoming cleanser of unwanted things, anartha nivritti. The word anartha refers to unwanted. Prabhuji, can you move upside?
Yeah, sorry. Yes. Yes. It is here.
Anarthas, the word anarthas to unwanted.
Yeah. Yes, to continue.
Oh,
Hare Krishna.
when a person is relieved from one, yes, Prabhuji.
Continue. So, you finished
When
the
a person
paragraph.
is
The word.
relieved from the unwanted things,
Continue, Puji. Continue.
yes, the word anartha refers to unwanted things. The anarthas are vacunished when one becomes attached to Krishna conscious moment.
Yes.
When a person is relieved from unwanted things, he becomes fixed in executing his Krishna activity. Indeed, he becomes attached to such activities and experience scarcity in the executing devotional service. This is called awakening of a dormant law of Godhead. Thus, the conditioned soul becomes free from material existence, and and loses interest in the bodily conception of the life, including material uh, opulence, material knowledge, material attraction of all the variety. At such a time, one can understand who is the supreme personality of Godhead is and what his Maya is. Although Maya may be present, it cannot disturb a devotee once he attained the Bhava stage. This is because the devotee can see the real position of Maya. Maya means forgetfulness of Krishna, and forgetfulness of Krishna and Krishna consciousness stand side by side, like side like light and shadow. If one remain in shadow, he cannot enjoy the facility offered by the light, and if one remain in the light, the cannot be disturbed by the darkness of the shadow. By taking to the Krishna conscious, one gradually become liberated and remain in light. Indeed, he does not even touch the darkness,
Yes.
as confirmed
So,
in
so here, as Prabhupada is saying that if somebody is in the light, so darkness cannot touch him, darkness or shadow cannot touch him, and Maya Devi and Krishna are side by side. So similarly, as long as we are in the material world, these anarthas of kama, krodha, moha, mada, matsara will be there in the heart. But if in the association of devotees, we are taking shelter of the holy name, especially Prabhupada's advice is that we get up early in the morning, chant the holy names in the association of devotees, attend Mangalarti, right? So if somebody's job schedules are not very tight, and if somebody can sleep early and get up early, please try to do it, because because one thing is, because as long as you are young, you will be able to do this. As soon as you become old, it will become very, very difficult for us to get up early in the morning. If you have not practiced it in the earlier stages, earlier, that is younger ages, it will be very difficult for you to get up early in the morning in the later part of the life. So if you can, if your job schedules are not very tight, if you can sleep early and get up early, please make it a priority to sleep early, get up early, try to chant. If temple is nearby, come in the temple, come in the association devotees and chant, right? Because you are all grihasthas, your schedules may be very different, your family requirements may be different. Somebody may sleep late, but if somebody is able to sleep early and somebody is able to get up early and in the association devotees chant, please take this opportunity very seriously, because this is what will protect us from going into Maya, right? Because this is what will save us, right? Because it is very, very difficult in the material world to practice Krishna consciousness. Only by the association of devotees will we be saved, right? So therefore, if somebody has opportunity, somebody can sleep early, get up early, and in the association of devotees chant, read, hear, better to do it, right? Because if you don't practice it now, somebody may think that now I'll earn money, lot of money, and after some time I will give up everything and I will chant. But what happens is, it is not so easy, right? Yesterday, I think recently I was hearing in Bhagavatam class that one person was dying, was on deathbed, and he was calling. He called his wife's name, and wife told that I'm here. He called his children's name, and all the children told that we are here. Everybody was very eager to know that our father or my husband must have kept some wealth in some place, and he must be telling that please take this wealth so that they need not work very hard. So then the father told that, oh, if everybody is here, who is there in the shop, right? So because he throughout his life he was attached to doing business, material sense gratification, so when he was on deathbed also he was thinking of that only. So therefore, uh, if we think that after some time I will now earn money, I will do everything, and after some time I will fully dedicate my life to Krishna consciousness, it may not happen, right? We may that time may not be also there. Many people are dying at the age of 30, 35. People are getting heart attacks, right? So therefore, now is the time to take shelter of Krishna. So if we can make it a priority, whatever bare minimum, whatever we require for sustenance, for our future practice of Krishna consciousness, whatever is required, so we work hard so much, we earn money, and then also along with that, we also try to cultivate Krishna consciousness by regularly reading, hearing, right, chanting of the holy names. So therefore, we need focus in our life. If you are focused, then it is not very, very difficult, right? So we'll stop here. This almost completes this text 7. So we'll stop here. Anybody has any questions, you can ask. Otherwise, we'll end here. Thank you. Hare Krishna. If nobody has questions, then we'll end here. We'll meet in the next class.
Thank you, Prabhuji.
Thank you. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Thank you.
Hare Krishna. Thank you, Prabhu.